Hi class. Well, let's look at doing our mannequin now. I have got the two, as I said, this one here, this one over here. This one I've had for a long time. He's had lots of love, paint all over him, bit stiff in places. A lot of students have played with this one. But I'm going to be looking at using this partly this lesson because this one does have a better version of the angles there of the chest and the abdomen. So we'll just pop that in with it today. With our mannequin, like with the human figure is basically, well, it's really 1 in about 7.5 for an adult. We're going to look at doing an adult because it's probably easier for the maths, but we're going to do 1 in 8, which is also an adult format. And that means that there's 1 head height. There's actually all the way down the body, there are 8 of them. So the halfway mark is right here. This is halfway, right where the hips finish and the thigh begin. That would be at 4, obviously. So what we're going to do though, I thought we'd make each head height so that it fits nicely on your visual diary. We'll make each head height 3 centimeters. So that means 3 centimeters will mean that the whole thing is 8 times 3, which is 24. So we will rule a line 24 centimeters down for our mannequin, and going across, the width is usually, the width of the shoulder, it's only about twice the head height. So what we're going to do is do 6 across that way. So you're going to create a rectangle that we were talking about. Remember, everything falls into the shape of the rectangle here. So with our rectangular shape, it'll be 6 across that way and 24 down that way. And that will end up with one like that. So do that first and foremost. We'll put a line in the center, so halfway down, and that way it's easier to see when you're doing your mannequin's body. It's easy to see if you've got it fairly even both sides, because the mannequin, like the human body, is basically symmetrical. So we want a nice symmetrical mannequin because they are made of wood and they are basically exactly the same both sides. I have already drawn this in pencil, mostly because I realized how crooked I was. Working from the side, everything went a little bit. So I had to just straighten a couple of little edges there because of that. So what I'm going to do, I did pre-draw a little one out so that, and did a little copy of that so that you can see when you're trying to draw it, you don't have a wonky looking thing. Okay, so each one of these I have marked every 3 centimeters on here, and that's what I'd like you to draw. So when you draw your 24 down, mark off 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 and 24. I'll put a little photo of that in, but we can do that together anyway. And that way, that's each one of those is your head height. And so here what we were talking about, halfway along you will see that's where we'll end here. That'll be on your 12. Okay, so have a moment to draw that up. And we'll get going. Now, when we were doing the head last time, we were talking about how for the head you have a circle, and then half of that height again becomes, still a bit crooked, half of the head again for the chin. So we did the circle and then half of that to allow for the chin area. So the mannequin sort of fits into that same. See, there's the circle and then you've got that extra half there again. That should come down to your line, your 3 line. So it should end up looking like this. Okay. In the next section, we're going to work all the way down to our halfway mark. So then we do a little circle for the, well, a flattened circle like we're talking about here, for the neck. See the neck there? That's the neck. And then we're going to put the shoulders in. The shoulders are a little bit lower than the line. If you're one of the younger students and you want to draw them on the line, that is fine. But other than that, they slope down a little bit. You don't go all the way to the edge because we want to allow room for our shoulders. See? So it doesn't go right to the edge. Here's the edge of our rectangle we drew on this side and this side. So this is in a little bit. There's the edge. We're drawing it in a little bit from the edge. Okay? So we'll bring it down like so. And we're going to come to basically halfway between these 2 points. And that creates the chest area for the mannequin and for people. Okay. Then we have the waist. So we'll put the waist in. Comes just a little bit. It's no wider than the top part there. Waist goes in. So that's where people and the mannequin turns. Very noisy turn. Bends. Okay. That's the waist. And then here is your abdominal or your stomach region. So we'll bring that down to our halfway line. Like I showed you with this one, you can see on this one how the chest comes out. Can you see that? The chest comes out and the abdominal area goes in. So you can just draw that line there for the chest, and you can even put a little one there for the abdominal region. Okay, so we've got our legs. Now, first thing we want to draw is the joint that is here at the top of our legs. That's for the bend. With our legs, halfway is basically where the kneecaps are. So here's your bottom line. What you can do is put a little mark where the halfway is. That'll be where your knees are going to be. Now, I think it's always good to get a ruler or pencil and draw a line straight down first, and that way you can keep your little, you can bring them in a little bit if you like for the older ones, but other than that, bring it straight down, and that helps you to get your line good both sides. Okay. Once you've done that at your halfway, just put your little kneecap above the halfway, and like when we did our cylinder and then we curved it, we're going to do that with our knees, down to our knees. So we bring the thigh out and then we bring it down. Both of our legs, we can do that. That's the top half of our legs. From here, and the ball for that. Then we've got a little ball down here for their ankles. So if you've drawn a straight line, you can already see where to put that in. And the same as at the top, thicker to thinner, you've got the same there because that's for the calf muscle, thicker to thinner. Yeah. Each side of that line again. And then just a little bit down there at the bottom for the feet. Sort of just a little triangle area, because you can see with our mannequin's foot, it's just like a little flat area there. When you've done that, let's do the arms. So same thing as with the legs. Let's draw a straight line down so that you can see Now the arms are quite a lot longer than you think they're going to be. See that? They're past even the halfway mark where the body is. Okay, so let's pop that in first. We'll get our circle here for our shoulder. That'll now take it right to that edge of your rectangle you drew. Bring your line down for your arm. Here we've got our, at about the waist level, we have the elbow joint. See? So we'll put that in first. And here at this base we can put the joint as well for the wrist. There it is. And then just like we did with the legs and just like we did here, you'll do that bit fatter to thinner coming down to that joint and the same down to the wrist. Okay, and then for the hand, it's flat on one side with the Manikin and curved on the other, because that's like our hand. Sort of got that curve and then the flat for the palm. Okay, so let's put that in. Flat for the palm, out and in, just like a little rectangle, a little triangle. Definitely a triangle. We then see on the Manikins there is a bit of a cut off to show the side planes of the face. So like when we do our figures, halfway is the eye, so a bit higher than that, because this is covering where the eyebrows is. It loops down across to that middle and around, and just do the same on the other side. And there is your Manikin finished. And we can do like we did here. We could put a light source here. And you can then shade all of the lights this side and down. All the shadows going to be on that side of everything in your Manikin. So make sure you put the shading over there. So here we go. You can just literally put some of that on each of that side. And that will give your figure a really nice, more realistic. It starts to get you used to that for when you do the body too. So we'll just do a simple version. We'll just literally shade the one side. And we'll do the head as well, I think. Okay. So there's your Manikin done. Now, if you want to have a little practice run at that, you can. Hopefully that's not as crooked because I had it there. And then you can send me your photos, any questions you've got, and that's done.